Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking WWE BackLash, the greatest show of all time, with the greatest match to ever happen in this or any other generation. We have Edge versus Randy Orton. We have Braun Strowman versus The Miz and John Morrison. Asuka versus Nia Jax. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Bayley and Sasha versus Bliss and Cross versus the Iconics. Apollo Crews versus Andrade, and Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. So we're going to start with matches I don't care about, all the way to the matches I am looking forward to, alright? So, first off, Asuka versus Nia Jax. Let's get this out of the way. Asuka's going to retain. Why would Nia win? Who cares if Nia wins? If Nia wins, then what? You see, you can check on my Twitter, my past tweets. I was in support of Nia Jax, of her making her return, her making her come back to the WWE after being gone for over a year. And then, when she came back, nothing changed. She looked the same, she moved the same, she acts the same. I mean, how am I supposed to get behind that? All of the things I did not like about Nia Jax, all that came back with it. So, I'm hoping that Asuka retains and Nia Jax does not win a damn thing. No matter what happens, please, Asuka, put her to sleep, kick her in the head, whatever you gotta do, and that's it. Just leave it be. I don't care about this match. Asuka needs to win, because I can already see that Charlotte Flair will face Asuka for the Raw Women's title. Either way, Asuka retains. Move on. Fuck off, Nia Jax. Let's move on. Next match I don't really care about much is the Triple Threat Tag Team title match for the women, as the best duo in the WWE, in my opinion. Bayley and Sasha Banks taking on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Iconics. Bayley and Sasha won it on SmackDown last week. I popped when I saw them win. I didn't think they were going to win the match. I thought Bliss and Cross were going to retain after a little dissension between Banks and Bayley, but thankfully they proved me wrong. I honestly don't want new champions yet. I want new champions at Extreme Rules. That's what I want. So I'm going to go with Bayley and Sasha to retain, just so that storyline between those two, it's going to happen eventually, maybe after Extreme Rules. So I think they're going to retain the titles at Backlash, and then maybe take on Bliss and Cross at Extreme Rules and lose the titles back to them. And then the storyline between Banks and Bayley will happen, and we'll finally get the match that everybody's been asking for. So I'm going to go with that. Bayley and Banks to retain the women's tag team titles. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Now, at first, I was going to say Jeff Hardy wins, no doubt about it. But I'm thinking, well, Jeff already beat Sheamus on SmackDown weeks ago, so you might as well give Sheamus the win. We all know Jeff is going to be the babyface in this situation. He's going to come out looking good. You acting like WWE's going to make him look like the biggest fool on the planet. Or I'll let Sheamus get the win here. And then Jeff Hardy gets the revenge at maybe at Extreme Rules, because then again, they both have a win over each other if Sheamus wins this match. So it's 1-1. So at Extreme Rules, you let them go extreme. Boom! They end it right there at Extreme Rules with either Jeff or Sheamus who will win. Mostly Jeff. He should win, in my opinion, getting the win over Sheamus. And then there you go. Jeff Hardy looks good. Yay! And then Jeff goes on to maybe fight for the Universal title, because Jeff Hardy in the world title scene, everybody wants to see it. So they might as well do it eventually. Stop holding this shit off. Nobody wants to see Jeff in a mid-card role. We got the United States title. Apollo Crews versus Andrade, who won a triple threat match on Raw this week, defeating Garza and Kevin Owens, but pinning Garza for the win after Kevin Owens had a stunner. So, obviously Apollo Crews is going to retain here, just move on from Andrade, let him fight somebody else, maybe Kevin Owens. You know, I would love to see Apollo versus Kevin Owens continue where they left off after Garza and Andrade got involved in their championship match. Simple. Cruz defeats Andrade. That's it. That's pretty much nothing much for me to say there. The Universal title in the handicap match. God, I hate this. I really hate this a lot. I really do. I really do. Competing for Universal. Miz and Morrison. I still stand by what I said. Morrison should have been on Raw, having great matches with superstars on Raw. And then Miz should be where he used to be 3 years ago. The fuck is he doing now? Miz is so irrelevant, it's not even funny. Let Miz go on and maybe challenge either AJ or Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental belt. You gotta build up Miz in order for him to be in that spot. I'm just saying. So Braun retains, whatever, and then maybe he fights these two again at Extreme Rules, and then we finally get Bray coming back as The Fiend, taking on Braun Strowman. Edge versus Randy Orton. This will not be the greatest match ever. Edge versus Orton. You gotta give it to Edge. You can't have Edge come back from the Rumble, go to WrestleMania, beat Orton in a last man standing. Orton challenged him to a wrestling match, and then he loses, proving Randy Orton right. That's kind of a weak ass way to finish this rivalry, don't you think? So Edge obviously gonna go ahead and get the job done. Execution, spear, 1, 2, 3. Edge beats Randy Orton. And expect a lot of headlocks in this fucking match by the hands of the Viper, by the way. And I think this should be the fucking main event. I dare anybody to tell me otherwise. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. These two have done a decent job to build to this match. Not many guys were able to do. I actually cared about Bobby Lashley a lot more now than I ever had when he came back. No, did not care. But the second MVP came to WWE, the second MVP was seen backstage with Bobby Lashley, I had hope that they're going to put MVP with Lashley and they're going to be together. It's going to be TNA all over again. I said it for years. Get MVP, bring his ass in, and then you have MVP team up with Bobby Lashley, and boom! You get the TNA run all over again. Because you cannot sit here and tell me that didn't make Bobby Lashley look like a big megastar. But the fact that MVP is the reason why Lashley's getting his first WWE Championship match since the Great American Bash in 2007 against John Cena. His last big match on pay-per-view where he got injured and he left anyway in WWE. Finally getting a shot against Drew McIntyre. Now, obviously, Bobby Lashley's not going to win. I don't want McIntyre to lose at this just yet. I want McIntyre. McIntyre, to me, is the best WWE champion on Raw in a long time. Like a champion that I actually am happy to see him win the belt and actually hold the title. Like, I'm talking on Raw, because the brand split stuff. I want WWE to finally make something out of McIntyre. And I heard this from JD from New York, and I actually love this idea. You have McIntyre be the WWE champion from WrestleMania, when he won it this year, to next year's WrestleMania. And that's exactly what needs to be done. There's nothing else. Who else deserves the WWE title more? Who deserves the WWE championship to have a run with it better? Nobody. As much as I'm a big fan of Bobby Lashley, I'm not that stupid. Have my fandom blind the bigger picture, which is McIntyre holding onto the title, actually having a great run. Having one reign means a lot more than having multiple title reigns, and then none of them mean anything. Look at Charlotte Flair, a 12-time champion, but yet not one fucking reign means anything. So that's why I say McIntyre having a long, lengthy, one-time title reign versus Bobby Lashley winning the belt and then having to have McIntyre win it back again, it's just meaningless. So those are my predictions for WWE BackLash this Sunday. The greatest show, the greatest match, whatever. So let's go over the matches I predicted, okay? Apollo Crews wins his title match. Bayley and Banks retain. Sheamus beats Jeff Hardy. Asuka retains her Raw Women's title. Braun Strowman retains the Universal title. Edge beats Orton, and McIntyre beats Bobby Lashley. Hope you guys enjoyed this prediction video. If you guys can, please give me a thumbs up on the way out. Give me your predictions. What do you guys think? Who's going to win at Backlash in your mind? And I'll see you guys next time. And I'm out. Later.
We some Southern boys with the promised strength. Ain't nobody man enough to feel the pain. And you could be next. You better give respect, cause ain't